Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, BA'Hashem, YAHAWASHI, BA'Hashem, Wakwak, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim, Wakwathin, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from the spinal captivity. This is Brother Cowboy Club coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, this is actually a very strange lesson because I wasn't reading this, but I saw someone share this Bible verse, and I thought, like, I don't know why. It's lucky. That's lucky. That's the thing. It's a little embarrassing, I'll admit. But at the same time, this is just one of those things that's just like you sometimes you can learn something after, the third time, the fifth time, even the 10th time of you reading the scriptures, because you're not going to always catch everything on your first run through, which is why, because I already read the scriptures, I think once or twice or something like that. I think twice. And now I'm just going back, and I have noticed a lot of other things that I didn't see the first time and second time. So I am making notes now, but in general, that's just the thing where we are able to, kind of catch certain things that we may not have been able to have saw the first time we read. All right, so that's what we have today with this verse. Romans chapter 7, verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. And that's the thing. Okay, so this basically what this means, it means like what you want to do, you don't do it. But the things that you don't want to do, like, say for example, a bad habit you're trying to kick, that's what you are doing. Okay, you have a bad habit, you want to stop doing the bad habit, but you can't do it because you are too fixated on that. And again, like, this is some real stuff. All right, this is basically how the Lord made us. And to be honest, it's kind of hard to kind of come to terms with it, so to speak. And I'm trying to be careful with my words because I don't think this is a very I believe, speaking as a man here, I believe that this is a sensitive topic that one might take and think that, okay, well, because it's not under my control, then I can just do whatever I want, and that's just the Lord Yahawadah. That's just the way He made me. Okay, like, I can't help that I want to be a murderer. I can't help that I want to go steal. I can't help that I want to go sleep with another man's wife. It's like these other type of stuff that, okay, of course, maybe if someone, which I pray that none of the elect have that, all right. But if you actually have some of these things, like these are still just because you have these, I don't know, desires or habits, whichever you want to call them. That does not mean you're supposed to just act on it. Now, the actual thing with this is a matter of, yes, we have bad habits. Yes, there are things that we do or we want to do that we fight against, but that is more so to kind of display our love for Yahawadah, YAHAWASHI, and that's really the main thing behind it. Okay, the capacity to reject and deny yourself. And now this is where let me get this first so I can, I think it's not deny yourself, it's bear with me one moment. Okay, it's himself, not Slakia. Okay, so Matthew chapter 16 verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. And that's basically the thing where, are you able to acknowledge that, okay, yeah, I have a heavy desire to want to eat pork, for example. Let's just say pork, to use a more calm and potentially relatable example. All right, let's say you love pork, because this is what I remember. All right, when I was speaking to certain people, all right, basically they just didn't want to, what's the word, give up pork. But basically with this, it's just a matter of, oh yeah, or slack, smoking. Let's say smoking. So people say, like, I know I don't want to do this anymore, but I just have this addiction. I really need it. It helps me calm down, X, Y, and Z, and stuff like that. It's really hard to kick this habit. So as a result of that, they just say, okay, well, I want as a result of that, even though I want this, I'm not going to do it. All right. Now, also the thing about this is that there's the second layer of it, the second aspect of it, besides, denying what you want, denying what is a heavy desire, not just desire, but a heavy addiction. All right. Saying that, you know what, I'm freaking going through all the symptoms of withdrawal, and I know I want it that badly, but I'm still going to deny myself and just not do it. Now with that, so with that, the second aspect of it is that, maybe you sometimes go and slip up. Maybe you sometimes go and do that type of stuff, and then you feel bad that, man, I know I was supposed to quit smoking, but I just keep on going back and doing it. I keep on doing this, that, and third. Like, I feel so bad and stuff like that. Well, again, that is also a part of what the Lord wants. All right. Now, again, as I said before, a lot of people are not going to really be able to accept this or receive this. All right. So that's why you really have to just take your time and actually attempt to understand this. All right. Because one of the things that you need to understand is that we are not perfect right now. All right. As a matter of fact, I will get that Yahawadah first before I continue on. 1 Corinthians 4:18-52. So first, Isaiah chapter 46 verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Basically, we are already predetermined to be a certain way that we are. All right. Now, say for example, you said you made a promise to someone. You say, oh man, I'm going to stop smoking. Okay, let's just take smoking for example. I'm gonna stop smoking. No more smoking for me and whatnot. I'm done with that. And then you get tempted, and then you actually go and do it. Then it's like, okay, well, damn, like I messed up. I knew I didn't want to do this, but I did it anyway. Like, I'm so sorry and stuff like that. Well, the thing is that a lot of this is all the Lord YAHAWASHI's plan, where maybe either the guilt, all right, the guilt of constantly messing up, constantly falling short in this area is going to help you, stay humble. All right, because there are people that say, oh yeah, I turned my life around, I'm this, that, and third. They may have started at the humble beginnings, but the change, it does kind of big people up. All right. And another thing is that, especially with YAHAWASHI, all right, people tend to kind of like want to, people tend to want to like hold on to, because I love YAHAWASHI, because I love the Lord so much, I have to do the right thing. I have to be perfect. I have to do everything and be exactly what the Lord wants me to be. I cannot keep on messing up. And then as a result of that, that high expectation, the Lord makes it so that or that perception of high expectation in your mind, the Lord makes it so that you fall short, so that you can understand that, you know what, you do not need to be perfect, because we are not perfect yet. Speaking of perfect, let's actually go into that quickly so that you can have a better understanding. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 52, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Basically, the dead shall be raised incorruptible, which is, let me get this as well. Hebrews chapter 8 verse 10, for this is the covenant which that I made, it's okay. Hebrews 8 verse 10, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. All right. Verse 12, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. Basically, when we get our new spiritual bodies, the law is going to be in our hearts, and we're just going to automatically, we're going to automatically never sin, never going to be able to sin, and the Lord's going to just say, all those sin that you did before in your old bodies, that's not a thing anymore. You're changed, you're better now. All right. So as a result of that, we're still waiting for that. But as of right now, we're not. While we strive for perfections, all right. Let me actually get that instead of saying it.
If you know that's happening with the major companies like the Cargills and the big agricultural companies, is there a boom to them from the smaller farmers that are closing down?
And Matthew 5 and verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So it's definitely possible for us to be perfect. Like an example of that is just say for example smoking. Okay, you can technically, if you were addicted to smoking and you stop smoking, you can technically stop smoking, but sometimes that addiction gets to you. Sometimes that it stops you from doing what you want to do, which is why going back to this, Romans chapter 7 verse 15, for that which I do I allow not, for what I would that do I not, Slakia, that do I not, but what I hate that I do. Basically, for that, I'll break it down so it's a lot easier to understand. For that which I do, I allow not. Basically, what you do, you do not allow it to happen, or you try to not allow it to happen. All right. Over here, the second part is what I would, that do I not. What you want to do, the good that you want to do, you don't do it. All right. So that's another part of the issue, where you want to do good things, you want to be perfect, but you are not perfect, and you do not do things perfectly. Now, finally, but what I hate that I do, the bad habits that we have, that is what we do, and that's what we're trying to break. So that's where we're trying to be perfect. So yes, this is where you have this this issue of wanting to be perfect, but constantly falling short. All right. So yeah, basically continuing on, Romans 9 verse 19, thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Okay, this is another aspect of it. All right, where it says thou wilt hold on, Slack, let me read it again. I don't know why my brain just shut down. Romans 9:19, thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Basically, you are not able to resist the will of Yahawadah, and you might be thinking, where is the fault? Why is their fault? All right, but it's just like you have to understand. As I had already explained. All right, this is just how the Lord made us. All right, and the thing about how He made us, it's that we're not perfect, and each of our imperfections are all contributing aspects to each of our individual stories. All right, because it's kind of like each of us have our own little mini side stories and stuff like that. The main story is the scripture, the Bible, the scriptures and all that stuff. But then there are some individual stories of say Kawaka, for example, having his issues with smoking or whatever. Just as an example. All right. Him having to learn to quit smoking and stop smoking completely and whatnot, even though he wasn't doing it, but then he was. There was a time that he was smoking. There was a time he wasn't smoking. X, Y, and Z. But he was able to still stay true and believe in YAHAWASHI, and then he was able to get that out at the end of everything and whatnot. But again, these are the different things, and you really just have to not just understand, but examine yourself and reflect on yourself and say okay, where can I make these changes? Where can I try to stop my bad habits? But at the same time, acknowledging that these bad habits that we have, or these things that we do, even though and Slaki, again, I have to say, and this is why this is such a sensitive topic, because I'm not trying to say that you're allowed to just go and do whatever you want. All right, I'm also not trying to say, we sin, all right, so, or it's like, Yahawashi died for our sins, so that means we can do whatever we want. Absolutely not. Okay, repenting it's like the grace period is for us to have that time of gradually becoming perfect, okay, returning to YAHAWASHI. That's why it is important that we repent, of course, but not also at the same time not necessarily beating yourself up for the fact that you fall short sometimes. You're not the best, you're not perfect and whatnot. All right, so that's where we are. We're looking to do better, we're looking to be better. All right, it's a very hard, trying process. All right. Romans 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher power, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh. Whosoever therefore resists the power, resists the ordinance of Yahweh, and they that resist shall receive to them damnation. And again, the power that's pushing us to doing our bad habits and stuff like that, it's ultimately from YAHAWASHI. And again, I'm not gonna sound like I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but it's still something that we kind of have to accept, or we kind of have to accept that we have this bad habit, and we have to find the balance of trying to do the right thing, find the balance of trying to be perfect, trying to find the balance of trying to please YAHAWASHI, while also acknowledging that things are not ideal. All right, so yeah, just don't be thinking that the Lord is, well, again, it's a hard thing. Okay, it's a hard thing to understand. I think didn't I already get this. Yeah, I did. Proverbs 20, verse 24. Man's going to the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? And that's the thing where, even with our lives, we might say, why did I get addicted to smoking? Why did I get addicted to this? Why did I start this? I just would have been better off not ever doing this type of stuff. But again, as I said before, our lives are like one whole story. We have our own individual stories and individual issues that we're dealing with, and the Lord is making us better as a result of it. So don't be thinking too, I guess, self-deprecatingly, all right, on yourself. Just acknowledge and try to endure. That's basically the main thing, the main lesson of just life in Babylon in general, where we just endure. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I pray you got something out of this. I pray you also don't just say, "Okay, well, I'm gonna do whatever I want." No, because that was not the point of the lesson. Okay, we still have to fight to do the right thing. Fight with ourselves, because that's the real enemy. The real enemy is in the spirit. All right, that's the main enemy. And you're gonna have demons that are gonna fight against us, to our spirit, to try to make us to go off. All right. So with that, that's the main thing to remember. With that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles, where Emil, son of Baba, and Shalom.